want to go? You want to go? All right, guys, welcome to number 6 out of 6 weightlifting workouts. Today we're going to have a big focus on the split jerk position. So especially for you guys who have never done splits before, but obviously also for those who just need to get some practice in to maintain or improve their split, make sure you do this whole workout at least once a week because it will take you through a lot of the details of the movement. So we're going to start with a simple warm-up. Cecily's going to get a stick on her back. We're going to do a few back squats. She's just going to focus on all the standard stuff, chest up, knees in line with the toes, and so on. She's going to count to 5 on the way up, count to 5 at the bottom, and count to 5 on the way up. That's not 5 seconds. You can go way slower. It needs to be Jeremy seconds, right? Lazy, slow seconds. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's more like it. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you sit still. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the tempo we need to see. You're going to do some monkey shrugs. So a monkey shrug is where you hold the stick overhead. Grip is going to be slightly wider than the shoulder. Can you do a few monkey shrugs for us? So that's a regular monkey shrug where you just shrug up and down. But she's going to focus every time the weight comes down. She's going to focus on squeezing the shoulder blades together. So she shrugs up and she's going to squeeze it together. So we're trying to warm up the shoulder blades, but we're also trying to feel where the weight needs to be. Because when you have a heavy weight, you don't want it to be in front of you. You don't want it to be over the shoulders. You want it to be nice over the shoulder blades. Think of like behind the back of the head. You're not trying to push the weight back. You're trying to keep that upper back tight. Do that for 10 repetitions as well. After those 10 repetitions, she's going to stay in the same position. She's going to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Elbows are straight, so she's going to keep the same grip and so on. She's going to do 3 squats like this, but again, 5-second tempo. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's going to come up the same way, but again, those shoulder blades need to be tight the whole time. She's going to squeeze them together the whole time. If that tires you somehow, you can rest your shoulders in between reps or something. I don't care. But once you're going into the squat, you need to work for it. If it's not perfect, that's fine. Fix your mobility. But work on it as much as you can during these movements. 3 repetitions. Beautiful. All right. Then we're going to move into a lotus or half lotus position. For most people, it's going to be a half lotus. Kleermaker sit in Dutch. So she's just going to put one foot over the other. She's going to have a supinated grip. So that means her palms face upward. From here, she's going to raise the stick. Then she's going to curl back and back up and all the way down. So it's like a front raise to overhead. Then she curls it back while she keeps her chest up. She extends again. So she's probably going to feel a little bit of a stretch around the shoulders, the middle of the back, and so on, which is fine. I'm going to do this for 10 repetitions. If possible, you can push your knees down a little bit so you can get some extra tension around the hips. It's a bit of a detail. Most of the focus should be on keeping a straight back while you do this. So you're trying to warm up the shoulders and the shoulder blades and the middle of the back a little extra. The reason why you will find afterwards. Great. She's going to stand up. She's going to do 3 front squats. But for those front squats, she's also going to do a 5-5-5 tempo. 5 seconds down, 5 seconds bottom, 5 seconds up. Good. So even if it's just a stick, she's going to try and keep her front rack as tight as possible. So if you're pretty stiff in your front rack, just like she does, get your chin on the stick and your elbows up as much as possible, so you can keep a straight back the whole time. Other than that, just the basics of the squat. Stay in your whole foot, slightly biased to the heel, knees in line with the toes as much as you can, and 5 seconds up. Awesome. Now she's going to put the stick aside. We're going to go to the last one, my personal favorite. She's going to go into a quadruped position, which means the hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips, and now she's going to get her knees off the floor. Now she's going to do a mid-back stretch, alternating. And now the trick is to keep your stomach pointed to the floor as much as possible. This is going to be very hard. So what does this actually accomplish? Well, one, it looks funny, obviously. But it also works in the sense that you're trying to keep your abs super tight and controlled while you engage your mid-back. If you cannot do that, you just keep your knees on the floor. But ideally, you want to keep your knees slightly off the floor, which forces you into full body tension while you try to improve your mobility. So right now, this is 100% fine if you cannot hold the quadruped position, but don't be afraid to challenge yourself a little bit on this, right? Every single time you basically twist the middle of the back, but not the lower back. The stomach should be pointing to the floor. Now, we don't want you to, go all out on just your warming up. So if you've been doing this with us, you do one more round. If you have not, you're going to do 2 rounds of this whole thing. And after that, you're going to join us for all the split jerk work. Press pause. All right, guys, we're going into the actual movements to work towards split jerk. We're starting off with a push press, which means you're going to get the stick on your shoulders in a front rack. She's going to be as vertical as possible. She's going to drive with the legs and get it to overhead. So make sure that you do not push the stick too far forward or backward. It's about getting it straight up, slightly back so you can get it over the base of the neck. But other than that, that's pretty much it. She's going to go for a vertical position as much as possible the whole time. So it's 90% legs, 10% arms. Might feel a bit weird because you're not actually holding any heavy weights in your hands, but try to feel the rhythm, just like a jump. It's like jumping and putting your feet straight back into place. Once she has done 10 reps of this, she's going to move on to the push jerk. So that means a jerk where your feet stay in the same place. So her heels come up slightly, but then she's like straight back into a dip position. And every single time, it's the same vertical torso when she dips and drives. It's the same jumping motion. So imagine you basically throwing the weight up into the air and then suddenly pushing yourself under the bar. You throw it up with your legs, you push yourself under with your hands. This is just to get the feel of the jerk and of the whole vertical movement thing. Nice. So when she's done 10 repetitions of this, we're going to find our split position. So also for those who do not know how to find your split position, Cecily is going to hold the stick beside her, and she's going into a half kneeling position. So she's going all the way down onto the floor. This knee needs to be roughly over the ankle. The back knee needs to be roughly under the shoulder, right? Now from here, she's going to go halfway up. That's pretty much it. Now you will see the knee is still either over the ankle or slightly behind it, and the back knee is behind the hip. That's good. Make sure that you are not going to twist. Make sure that you stay in this position. So keep that back heel slightly out and this back heel slightly out. You could think of getting the toes slightly in. Just don't exaggerate it. All right, go back down in the same position. Go grab the stick. Cecily is going to go up into that split position. She's going to go up into front rack, 10 presses. So because she's doing the press, she needs to move her head back and forth a little bit. So that means she's going to have to make sure she's properly balanced. To be balanced in a split jerk, you can think of pushing the floor apart. So she's going to have both feet pushing into the floor with the balls of the feet while she does this. It's harder when you're actually using weight, but the same principle applies. You need to remain balanced. You do the same thing on the other side. So now she's going to go for both sides. There are several reasons why you would want to do that on both sides. For most people, you don't have to do both sides. Still, we're going to do that. That falls outside the scope of this video. For now, you just need to find the same positions on both sides. You're going to get your heels nice and out, toes slightly in. This is all going to be pretty straight. 10 presses, same principle. This is also great for those who don't know which leg they favor, so you can kind of feel it out, see which one you prefer. So what I need you guys to do is you're going to do the whole thing again. So that's the push press and split jerk, and then you're going to do the presses and split. If you are not joining us, you're going to do 2 rounds of the whole thing. And yes, after splits, you still go back to the push jerk. You need to be able to control every single variations, even if I would put them together in whatever order I choose. You need to control all of them. So go and practice. Press pause. All right, once you have done your presses and split, we're going to move on to the behind the neck push jerk in split, and we're going to emphasize the whole finding your ideal split position. We're going to emphasize it a little bit more, although obviously you might have to deviate from it a little bit depending on your own build, preference, strength, and so on. Cecily's going to find her split position again. So remember, knee over the ankle, back knee under the shoulder, and from there you're going to go up halfway. Now she's going to get the stick on her neck, and she's going to do push jerks. So her feet do not move. Her feet stay in place, so you don't have to think about that anymore. Also in terms of width, I should be able to put a stick in between her feet. So make sure that you do not, tightrope it. Don't put your feet in one straight line or whatever behind each other. She's basically just making a push jerk. A jerk without moving the feet, the one we've been practicing before. This should help her ingrain the position combined with the whole rhythm. So then she's going to go to the other side. She's going to go back to the floor. And she's going to try and find her position. Knee over the ankle, knee under the shoulder, go up halfway. And from there, she's going to do the same thing. Now, this is her non-preferred leg, so this is probably going to feel a bit awkward. Still, I expect her to have the same rhythm. Keep that back straight, to keep the heels out slightly. Out, there we go. For those of you who do have some experience with the split jerk, your off leg is probably going to feel very off. Still, do it. 10 repetitions. Good. You're going to do the same thing again. You're going to make lots of repetitions, so find your split. 10 reps on each side again, or do 2 rounds if you have not joined us over the last minute or so. And after that, then we'll move on to the more dynamic stuff, all right? So press pause. So now we've been doing it pretty statically, so we've been, finding the position, and we've been doing the push jerks in split where you're already in the position you want to end up. Now we're going to see if we can find that split position fast. So what Cecily's going to do here, she's going to do split shifts. So basically she's going to be in one split position, and for 20 repetitions she's going to alternate fast. It is not going to be perfect every single rep, not even for someone like Cecily who's done split jerks with 95 kilos, but as soon as she has to go on her weird leg, her non-preferred leg, she's going to have a very hard time. Don't worry too much about the arms either. I just want to see that the torso stays roughly in the same place. And you focus on getting that same position. Every time she lands, she pushes the floor apart. If you have a lot of trouble with this, either because of a knee injury or you simply are not very proficient with the position, I'm also okay with it if you just step front and back. So you step back, and you're just going to switch and you're going to find that position. So if you really have a lot of issues with it, do it like this. Now keep in mind that when you do a split jerk, you always want to step back with the front foot first. So can you show us a split? So you always step back halfway with the front foot and then the other one. It's not exactly about halfway, but your front foot should make a significant step, then the back foot. So that goes for any of the variations we're doing from now on. Whatever drill, whatever split variation, if you step back, you always step back with the front foot. If you feel you need to step back with your back foot first, for whatever reason, you messed up in your technique somewhere. So Cecily's going to get the stick. She's going to do 10 tall jerks on one side. That means she starts with the stick around forehead height. Think of pushing herself under the bar. And she steps back, front and back. And again, she goes on the toes, forehead, front, back, front, back. So imagine like it's a wall that she's pressing again, a ceiling, whatever, and she's pushing against the wall so hard that she pushes herself down. It's not about getting the stick up, it's about getting yourself down into that position. 10 repetitions on one side. For people who know what their preferred side is, you might want to start with their off side because it's super uncomfortable, at least you get that out of the way. Then you're going to go to the other side, you're going to do the same thing. So the primary thing for most of you guys to focus on is probably going to be your foot position every single time you press the floor apart with the balls of your feet. For those who feel like foot position is already perfect, you could just try to focus a bit more on other things like locking the stick above the shoulder blades and all that sort of stuff. But for most of you guys, be very consistent with that foot position. If necessary, you just stop in your catch, you adjust your foot position until you're proper. So can you do one more? So imagine that she has a very ugly rep where she's all the way forward. She's not going to step back. She's going to adjust herself first. Then she's going to step back. Again, feel what happens. Be very strict about your position. Try to exaggerate it. The same thing here that we did, so the whole thing about the split shifts and the tall jerks, you're going to do 2 rounds, or if you joined us, another round of the whole thing. Press pause. So for the next part, we're going to combine a few movements. I already mentioned earlier, whatever order I give you guys in terms of what exercise to do first or later, you should be able to combine them all. You need to be in control of the movements. We're going to test now and see if that's actually the case. Cecily is going to get the bar, or in this case the stick, on her shoulders. She's going through 3 push presses. So drive with the legs and lock. That's it. She's not getting into the bar anymore. 3 times. Then she's going to do 3 power jerks. So now she's still going to drive with the legs, but now she's actually going to get under the bar. Don't worry about foot movement too much. If you keep the feet in the same place, that's fine. If you put them slightly out, it's also fine. Now she's going to do 6 alternating split jerks. 1, then the other side. And again, take your time to adjust yourself if necessary. And every time, front foot first, then your back foot. Right. Last ones. Beautiful. Awesome. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to repeat this for another set, and then you're going to join us for the next one. If you feel you have issues with this specific combination, you're like confusing the push press and the power jerk, just do 1 or 2 extra rounds, all right? It's not that many reps. It's probably not going to be super tiring. Keep it strict and controlled. Press pause. All right, guys, we're almost done with this one. Well, except for the fact that I'm going to expect you guys to do extra rounds. But we're going to do 20 split jerks alternating now. So don't worry too much anymore about the push presses and the power jerks and all the other stuff. What you need to focus on is a leg drive, you know, the dip and drive, into a solid position. Cecily's going to demo 20 repetitions for you, alternating. And every single time she's going to step back with the front leg first. At some point she might get a little tired. Your challenge is that when you are tired, you will still have your toes slightly in. When you are tired, you will still have a straight back and the stick over the base of your neck. When you are tired, you will still have fast feet. That is the whole purpose here. That is the reason why we do so many reps. For those that think that this is boring and they want to use heavy weights, if you cannot do a bunch of reps properly with the stick, you probably don't deserve to use heavy weight to begin with, right? When kids are being taught weightlifting, you usually start with the stick, hundreds upon hundreds of reps. That's how they, in the long run, become such great weightlifters, instead of chasing that 1 rep max all the time. Awesome. Should you get tired from doing all these reps? Sucks to be you. Awesome. So if you really feel like you need a break, if you feel like, oh, this was so heavy, oh, my legs are burning, that's completely okay. Take a short break. But for those who are still fit as a fiddle, you're going to move on to the last step, which is simply practicing the split jerk. The very least you need to do is another 20 reps on your favorite leg. I assume that people who have never done splits before by now know which leg feels better. Pick that leg, do 20 more repetitions, and if you feel that's not enough, obviously, short break, do 1 or 2 more rounds. But the very least I want you guys to do is another 20 split jerks on your favorite leg and be very consistent with your technique. So that's it for today. Practice your split jerk, and hopefully sooner or later we're going to see you with super heavy weights overhead in that perfect split jerk. Good luck practicing, guys.